So the girl I want to couple up with is Justine.
Hey, Rachel, I am shocked. How are you feeling?
Honestly, like I would say I like didn't expect it for sure. But like honestly, you kind of come out of it and like you're able to like think things through and like, okay, well, I guess this made sense and this made sense and this made sense. Like, I think initially I was really, really shocked. And then it was like, you know, you have to go with the connection that you feel is like the strongest. So
Yeah, it like sucked watching. I felt like you and Justine got pitted against each other a lot during the course of the show. Like, was that frustrating for you?
absolutely. Like that was, I don't think we were like necessarily like, pitted against each other. It just ended up working out that way where we like, I mean, I think that I struggle to use like the word similar, but I just think that like we have like almost have like the same kind of like energy or like vibe. And like, I think we have the same type, which is why like we were constantly kind of ending up with the overlap, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because you guys kind of were going after the same guy 2 different times. And one, it was like you were kind of going after her guy, and then she was going after your guy. So you kind of had this conversation where you like friend broke up with her. But how are you feeling
like,
now?
Well, I mean, looking back, it was one of those things where I like almost resent the idea that like I like went after Jeremiah. Like I just like went on a date with like a guy in the villa and like we just like really hit it off. And the way it was like presented to me was that it was like over completely. And so I think that the only time we really like were really like openly pursuing the same person was with Caleb. So
Well, it was like during the challenge, on one hand, I was like, go Justine, like go for what you want, because we've kind of seen her kind of hold herself back throughout the show. But then as your friend, I was like, what? This is the first time we're even hearing that she's interested in Caleb. Did you have any inclination that she was into him?
You know, like there were conversations, but it was like, she would just tell me how much Caleb liked me. And like, she would just tell me like, oh, he talks about you the whole time. Like after the challenge, we like had a conversation and she was just like, you know, we like both kind of were like laughing during the kiss. And I was like, I don't think so. Like,
yeah. And I was shocked that Caleb picked Justine. Even during his speech, I thought he was picking you until like he said the word Justine. So did you feel a shift with Caleb at all?
You know, I think like looking back, things definitely like made more sense. I think that, there was like he felt like second best, and like those were kind of like the nature of our conversations was like he felt like, you know, even with like pursuing Justine, like it was, I think it was one of those things where sorry, I'm like kind of like, okay, well it was like this, but it was like this. The problem with like Love Island is you can see all the sides of it, and like, you know, everyone is just there for their own experience. But I definitely think that you know, it just kind of like was what it was. Like, I think that it's like, I think that during that speech, I did not expect to go home, like when I went home. Mm-hmm. That being said, like, it's hard to fault him or fault her. Like, it's just a tough situation. So,
yeah. So what do you think about them as a couple? Do you wish them well? Do you think they'll be successful?
I really hope that they are successful, and I do wish them well, because I think that everyone there is so incredible and like really does deserve to find love. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I think it's hard because I think that they are like a better fit as far as like moving forward. But I think if you ask Trey what's gonna happen is that I hope that like they continue to grow.
Yeah, I really felt like Trey was trying to get her off the show.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
But we saw you two kind of embrace and say goodbye at the end. Do you feel like you and Justine will be friends after this experience?
Probably not. I think that at this point, it's one of those things where it's like you meet people and you get along with them, and I really do wish her the best. I just think that, you know, like I definitely think like moving forward, I was just closer with other Islanders, had less conflict, and like I don't really want to like work through a bunch of things so like we can stay friends. Like it's okay to not be friends.
Totally. I love the honesty. Who would you say you were closest with in the villa?
I think it's so funny because I really liked everyone for like different reasons and I felt close in different ways. But I think like overall like favorites were definitely Kirsten because we came in together.
Love
Yeah, and just because like I spent so much time with Kirsten, I ended up getting to know Carrington really well. And then honestly, Trey was really cool like the entire time. So, and that being said, I didn't know her that well, or like I didn't get to spend that much time with her, but I really liked Lauren, but also I really liked everyone. Like, it's like, okay, well, I loved Mo and I loved Connor and I loved Kenzie, like, you know? And so all together, it's definitely, I just love everyone.
What did you think of Lauren coming into the villa?
I loved it. Like I was excited that she came in. I think that it was like one of the things that makes Love Island so great is that things are constantly changing. So I was excited to have her in the villa. She was super cool and from great style. So
Mackenzie definitely reacted to her going on a date with Connor. I'm very curious because you seem pretty close with Mackenzie. Like you were the one that really hit her with some truth that I think no one else was willing to tell her.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about her and Connor?
You know, I think it's one of those things where it's really just up to the two of them as far as like what it looks like moving forward. I think that at least the time that I spent together is they seem to make each other better. That being said, some things came to light that night that, you know, it definitely is kind of like, you know, I'm gonna let them figure that one out.
It was so confused because we were all like, you know, I feel like everyone watching was like, Mackenzie's being kind of controlling. Then America sent Connor on this date with Lauren, but then he comes back and Connor turns into like a boy where he's like, doesn't want to tell her how he feels. And then he's like, be my girlfriend. Actually, never mind. I want to break up. And like, I was like, Connor, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's hard because it's like, I think it's, you know, every relationship, every problem that's in a relationship is, I think 50-50. So it's hard because it's like, I think, yeah, Kenzie can be a little dominant in her relationships, but at the same time, like, Connor, if you feel that way, you gotta tell her. Like,
that was so frustrating to watch. I'm curious your thoughts on Cely and Johnny too, because I don't know if you guys were privy to this, but Johnny went on a date with Lauren and said that she was turning his head. And I was like, I thought that Cely and Johnny were very strong. They went to the hideaway. They seem like one of the strongest couples, but it seems to me like Cely's more into Johnny than Johnny's into Cely. Do you think that's accurate?
I think that living in the house, it's a little bit different because you get to see people at all times. I think that Johnny does really care about Cely. If I had to say who I think cares more about who, I would probably say, I think Cely's a little bit more interested in Johnny.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what happens when maybe another guy will come in. And
exactly. Only time will tell.
So since you get to spend so much time with them, who do you think is the strongest couple in the house right now?
I honestly kind of like Calvin and Mo together. Like, I think they really like each other for the like right reasons, if that makes sense. And it just seems like they kind of have like this natural chemistry, and like in the villa, like he just took such good care of her that, you know, it was just so sweet to watch.
He seems really sweet. Like when he first came on the show, I was like, oh, who is this? And then I was like, he's really nice.
Yeah, he's really nice. And like, I was having a conversation with Caleb one time, and we were just kind of like, what is it about Calvin? And Caleb said like, he's got swag. And it's surprising. Like, so yeah, he's a really cool guy.
You said you and Justine will probably not be friends after this. What about you and Caleb? Do you guys think you could be friends after this?
Honestly, looking back, I'm glad. Okay, it's weird to say like, okay, I'm glad that he chose Justine. Like, I'm not glad that like that meant that I had to go home. Like, I would have loved to stay, but at the same time, it's like, I think looking back, I was really excited to be Caleb's friend.